Please be seated. Members of the class of 2024. They deserve this applause. It's hard enough to earn a Yale degree, but they've done it under some pretty trying circumstances. Some of you didn't have a graduation from college because of the pandemic, and the last few years have been tough. We're grateful you have persevered. Members of the family, faculty, staff, and friends, welcome to the 198th Commencement Exercises of Yale Divinity School and the 323rd Commencement Exercises of Yale University. As Dean of the Divinity School and on behalf of the faculty and staff of the Divinity School, of Andover Newton Seminary, of Berkeley Divinity School, and the Institute of Sacred Music, it is my honor to welcome all of you to this beautiful, sun-soaked celebration of these graduates. If you're a guest and you're either now uncomfortable or become uncomfortable sitting out here, if you go to this door on my right, your left, you can go in. Someone will show you to a room where this is being broadcast by live stream inside, and you can watch from indoors. Today we're conferring degrees on 98 students. "51 will receive a Master of Arts in Religion degree. 40 will receive a Master of Divinity degree. And 7 will receive a Master of Sacred Theology degree. You range in age from our Wunderkind at 22 to our sage at age 70. And I have to say, I'm so glad somebody's getting a degree who's older than I am. You come from different parts of the world. You come not only from North America, including our neighbor to the north in Canada, but from Asia, from countries like China, the Philippines, South Korea, and Vietnam. Others come from Africa, specifically Ghana, and still others from Europe, especially Germany. 1/3 of you already hold advanced degrees of 15 different types, including 3 who have different kinds of doctorates already. You're a diverse and distinguished group, but there are 2 things that set this class apart from most classes. One is you're the first members of your class received their degrees in September. They were the Reverends James Pennington and Alexander Crummell. The second thing that distinguishes this class is 2 years ago, we became tuition-free for everyone with demonstrated need. That means that if you're an MAR, one of the 51s, or an STM, you have not had to pay tuition. I apologize to the MDivs who might have had to pay a little bit that first year. Next year, people will all graduate. But I hope you can remember that about your class. It's a real distinct measure. One of our traditions is to recognize our partners on the quad by having them participate in major ways. So today, Professor Adrian Emmanuel Hernandez-Acosta from the Institute of Sacred Music will offer Invocation. Dean Andrew McGowan of Berkeley Divinity School will read our scripture, and Dean Sarah Drummond from Andover Newton Seminary will lead our benediction. I now call on graduating student Henri Ellis Santelman to read the YDS Acknowledgment of Indigenous Peoples' Stewardship of the Land.
We begin with this acknowledgement of Indigenous people's stewardship of this land. Yale University acknowledges that Indigenous people and nations, including Mohegan, Mashantucket Pequot, Eastern Pequot, Schaghticoke, Golden Hill Pagusset, Niantic, and the Quinnipiac and other Algonquin-speaking peoples have stewarded through generations the lands and waterways of what is now the state of Connecticut. We honor and respect the enduring relationship that exists between these peoples and nations and this land. The Divinity School recognizes the role that Christianity played in colonization movements and continues to play in colonization movements, and repudiates the use of Christianity or any other religion for the purposes of oppression. We encourage all to work for justice in the aftermath of colonization and to reject racism and anti-Indigenous attitudes in all forms.
Join me as you are willing and able in a prayerful disposition. To the Most High and merciful God, you who shadow the great and tend with care to the small, God of the infant's cry and of the word aged with weathered wisdom, we give you thanks. Thank you for breathing the breath of life into our lungs that we might laugh with what is worthy of joy and weep with all that must be mourned. Thank you for the spirit of your instruction, which abides in that secret place beyond all applause, beyond the accolades and the acclaim, to remind us how to mold our breath like potter's clay into a word that neither flinches nor falters. With this breath, I present unto you each and every member of the graduating class, their loved ones, their professors, admin and staff, all those who have watered the seeds of their success. We have come together on this day set apart to celebrate the many measures of their success, measured in pages read and pages written, in classroom hours and office hours, in sleepless nights and seemingly endless work days, measured in the stretch marks of their wineskins, which they have dared to break open again and again for new wine to be poured. Their success has cost them much. Oh, how our success has cost so much to so many. From investments in military weapons manufacturing, to the supply chain of the Congo's cobalt, from the dispossession of neighborhoods just beyond this campus, to the endless flow of what too many still consider disposable labor. How difficult it is to toast to joy when the only cup at hand seems to be the one wrought from suffering. And yet, there is another kind of success in honor of which I raise my outstretched heart. This other kind of success cannot be measured in pages or papers. No class can grade it. No degree can confer it. It cannot be bought or sold, but only lived into, day in and day out. It is a success we can only achieve by how we choose to stand before the utter brokenness of the systems of this world. It is a success no hand can spoil but our own. We can always find the beginning of its path in the question, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? Striving to achieve this success is what I celebrate most among our graduating students today. And so before a great cloud of witnesses, past and present, I pray that today not only mark a milestone along our journey, but also that it may renew in us the desire to continue striving for that success beyond measure. Amen.
I invite those who are participating in the awarding of prizes to come forward. Members of the class of 2024, in just a few moments, you will receive your diplomas, a testimony to your hard work, your perseverance, and your academic success. But before that, we take a few moments to recognize some among you whom the faculty have selected to honor for particular achievements and contributions. I invite Dean Andrew McGowan to begin these recognitions.
On Saturday afternoon, after Berkeley Divinity School's commencement evensong, a number of prizes and awards were given to Berkeley students. After these, Dean Sterling conferred the Bradford E. Abelson Prize for Ecclesiastical Leadership. The Abelson Prize is a Yale prize given to a Berkeley student deemed to possess outstanding qualities of judgment and character for the future exercise of ecclesiastical leadership in the Episcopal tradition. The Abelson Prize was presented by Dean Sterling to Sarah Bell Newman. We invite Sarah to stand in place and to be recognized, and we congratulate the other Berkeley Prize recipients.
For the following prizes and fellowships, we invite the named recipients to please come forward that we might present them with a certificate and a gift and offer our congratulations. Professor Jennings.
The Julia A. Archibald High Scholarship Prize for the member of the graduating class, 3 years in attendance, receiving the MDiv degree, who ranks highest in scholarship, is presented to Jonathan Alexander Ort.
The Harold W. Attridge High Scholarship Prize recognizes a graduating student who ranks highest in scholarship among those earning the Master of Arts in Religion. This year's inaugural prize recipient is Maria Chen.
The Abraham Johannes Malherbe Fellowship for Further Study in New Testament and Early Church History is presented to Maria Chen.
The Reverend Frederick J. Street's Social Justice Prize is awarded to a graduating YDS student deemed to have made a particularly distinguished contribution to the advancement of social justice during their time as a student. This year, the Reverend Frederick J. Street's Social Justice Prize is awarded to Terrence McQueen.
The John A. Wade Prize is awarded to the student showing the greatest originality in expository preaching. This year's Wade Prize is presented to Lily Catherine Jerskis.
At our Fall Awards ceremony during Fall 2023 semester, prizes were awarded to 3 students who are now graduating: Rachel Park, Shauna Milam, and Isaiah Cruz. We invite these 3 students to stand in place so that we may offer our congratulations to them as well. And please join us in congratulating all of our prize winners this year.
In a few minutes, you're going to receive your diploma, which gives you your Yale degree. We're sending you out into a world which is in trouble. And I'd like for you to think about one aspect of this world. In March of this year, Alex Garland's film, Civil War, was released in the US and a month later in the UK. It's a thriller set in a future dystopian America in which civil war has broken out between regional factions and the federal government. The plot of the film appears to play off the rhetoric of a number of extremist groups today. While we note the hyperbole of this rhetoric, I'm much more concerned about the social fabric of our society. I don't have in mind a specific issue. I'm not going to talk about this issue or that issue. I'm talking about our society as a community. The tensions that now exist are higher, and the gaps are wider. Today in politics, instead of talking about my political opponent, frequently people talk about their political enemy. In a recent poll, 45% of all Republicans and 41% of all Democrats believe that the members of the other party were a threat to the democracy of this country. Maybe more worrisome than these polls is the fact that hate crimes had dropped from 9/11 till 2014 and have been on the rise since, and are now at the highest level that they've been at in this entire century. What is happening in our society? Let's try to understand it first. Political sciences have been looking at polarization carefully, and I'm going to give you just some brief results of a report by Rachel Kleinfeld, who graduated from Yale College and is now a senior fellow at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. She says there have been 3 basic periods in which people have studied the tensions within our society. The first looked at the ideological differences. And what they found, interestingly, was that when they polled Americans, the majority of American voters actually agreed on a lot of issues that are considered very sensitive and highly volatile issues. So, for example, 53% of all voters in the US favored a ban on assault weapons. Now, that 53% was not evenly distributed, but it was quite clear the majority. CNN has run polls on the Supreme Court's decision in the Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization, and for the last 2 years, the numbers have been consistent. 65% oppose the decision, 35% or 34% favor it. So the conclusion of this first phase of study was that the ideological divide is actually greater among the people we send to Congress than it is among the voters ourselves. The second phase analyzed affective polarization. That is, how do we feel about each other? What are our emotions towards each other? In this case study, the data indicated that dislike was based not on ideology, but on identity, far more than ideology. And it's grown among all groups. And one of the most shocking things to me was that the group where it's grown the fastest is the people over 65. So it's not only grown, but it's grown in unusual places. But they've become a challenge for families where estrangements have occurred, or simply people have agreed we won't talk about those things. Finally, in a recent study, political scientists have noted that there are two groups: a group that appeals to pluralism and civility, that thinks it's, and another group that would say civility is a hindrance to progress towards social justice. But the challenge for the former is that it's basically someone like me speaking to people like you who agree on civility, and it doesn't affect the larger world out there. And the problem with the latter is that it sometimes moves the needle in the opposite direction when people react, and you end up with Pyrrhic victories. So in ancient Greece, this is my training, we would say we're between Scylla and Charybdis, that is, two mythical monsters. Or in the West, where I grew up, between a rock and a hard place. So how do we get out of this? How do we move forward as a society? There's no simple way forward. There's no easy answer or magic wand. There are ways of moving forward. But rather than discuss specific strategies, I want to focus on the message of the text that Dean McGowan read for us just a minute ago, because it deals with our characters and our disposition. It's an ascent psalm linked to the two around it. And the basic message is very simple. Look how good and how beautiful it is when people live together in unity. Now, we could debate, as scholars have, and all of the students know that we like to argue with each other. We're very good at that. That this could refer to extended families. Not that any extended families here could relate to this, but that's one of the arguments. Another argument is, no, it actually refers to festivals, to days like today, where you can have people who disrupt the festival. Or others have said it's about national unity. It's about the fact that Judah and Israel split over differences and went their separate ways as two separate countries. And others would say it's just a general exhortation towards harmony. Well, in my mind, this may have started as a statement for families, but it became applicable for country, for Judah, for Israel. And that's why I thought of it today. The goodness and the beauty of the harmony are illustrated in this text by two similes. The first reminds us of an ancient party, the equivalent of today. But in the ancient world, people were often anointed with oil on their heads, and if you were like me, on your beard, and it could run down onto your clothes. Why is that? Well, think of the ancient world for a minute. There wasn't secret. There wasn't right guard. They didn't have the same kinds of products that we have to reduce our bodily odors. And you may not have wanted to sit so close to somebody in the ancient world. So they put expensive oils on you that were like perfumes, and people smelled good. But the point is, you create a party, you create a celebration. And the second metaphor is a little strange, that the dew of Mount Hermon, the highest mountain in that whole part of the world, the only place where there's a ski resort over there, dew would fall on Zion. That's like saying that the summer breezes up on Mount Washington in the northeast of us would blow through Manhattan on an August day. That's what that's like saying. The result is that God's blessing is given, and that's life. Life forevermore. The point of the psalmist is that there is life in community. It's a message that has been repeated by many people in many different creative ways. A couple of years ago, Adrian and I had the privilege to sit at the same dinner table as Stevie Wonder when he received an honorary degree. I'll never forget that evening. But thinking about the honorary degrees in this message, I thought of the song that Stevie Wonder and Paul McCartney sang. Ebony and ivory live together in perfect harmony. Side by side on my piano keyboard, oh Lord, why don't we? Our world is rent by immoral wars, by unethical distribution of wealth, by racism. I won't finish the litany that we could all give. But each issue can be complex and needs to be addressed, and I urge you to address them. But I urge you, as you address them, and challenge you to keep in mind the importance of community. That's where life exists, and I hope that you will always remember that. We might not understand everything alike. We might not even always feel good about other people who disagree with us. That's nothing new. But we need to learn how to live together. I hope you will work for that in your lives. Now we give you your degrees.
You did. I call on the Master of Divinity, class of 2024, to come forward and receive your degree. The Yale Divinity School banner bearer, Jamal Davis Neal, Jr. The MDiv Marshal, Jonathan Alexander Ort. MDiv Marshal Rhea Naomi Williams. Sean Kirkland Baz. Caroline Truitt Blosser. Amanda Michelle Bryant. Catherine Locke Campbell. Madeline Ladd Finch Carlman. Tae Kim Gwyn Do. Jeffrey Charles Drake Douglas. Lauren Nicole Dubé Scott. Riley Ruth Erlandson. Alicia Giselle Lisbeth Gaithan. Andre Cortez Guilford Jr. Madeline Harris LaRue. Michael Hemingway Hefner. Tanya Renata Helmer. Daisy Louise Jones. Shahazad Keith Joseph. Lily Catherine Yerskis. Michaela Kelly. Spencer Thurston Law. Jonathan Andrew Maresca. Terrence Terrell McQueen. Tyler Mark Nelson. Sarah Bell Newman. Jeremy Robert O'Neill. Edwin Perez Jr. Nadelka F. Prescott. Matthew Frerking Reese. Rachel Catherine Sauls. Matthew Christopher Smith. Sutton Elizabeth Smith. Travion Deonte Smith. Trevor Anthony Smith. Samara Singh Source. Sarah Elizabeth Spain. Aiden Luke Stoddard. Adam Chiang Toller. Tommy Lee Watson, Jr. Claire Elizabeth Wahey. Seska Grace Woles Fontenot. Let's give a round of applause for all of our MDiv graduates. I invite members of the class of 2024 receiving the Master of Arts in Religion degree to come forward at this time. The Marshal for the MAR class, Nyla Gerard. Alfred Apia. Ian Barclay. There you go. Rachel Allison Beaver. Kayla Marie Beckness. Judson Banked Bergman. Macy Elizabeth Bridge. Claire Campbell. Wilson Charles. Maria Chen. Taylor Craig. Isaiah Cruz. McAllister Draper. Avery Michael Eddy. Aaron Edmonds. Mother Maria Evangelista Fernandez. Isabel Jane Lena Fraza. Raymond Nathan Eli Gonzalez. Sierra Joy Gonzalez. Sebastian Andres Grandas. Elizabeth Jacqueline Robert Hain. Riley Kate Harrison. Lauren Elizabeth Hoagland. Micah Faye Holcomb. Kirsten Johnson. Genevieve Anna Kilburn Smith in absentia. Sin Young Kim. Annalisa Lane. Esther Danielle Levy. Maya Lewis in absentia. Shu Yang Lee. Chi Hui Liu. Joseph Quinn Martinelli in absentia. Aaron Joseph Medina. Shauna Hope Milam. Catherine Rose Minsterman. Georgia Papano. Rachel Yeji Park. Clara Grace Poteet. Yifan Ching. Paris Janet Beverly Reed. Annika Rayner. Henri Ellis Santelman. Kashmiri Fatima Schmuckler in absentia. Allison Rose Stapleton. Kelby Joseph Ubilar. Daphne Vernice Villanueva. Yu Li Wang. Max Wu. Sharon C.Y. Yao. Alana Zimmer. Please join me in congratulating our Master of Arts in Religion graduates. I invite members of the class of 2024 receiving the Master of Sacred Theology degree to come forward and receive your diplomas. The class marshal for the STM students, Vincent Lee. Sophie Rebecca Beal. Han-Gyar Che. Michael Joseph Horvath in absentia. Juan U. Hue. Robert Morrison Lofberg. Jing Jin Luo. William Augustine Parker. Please join me in congratulating all the STM graduates from the class of 2024 and all of our graduates.
Can we have another round of applause for the class of 2024? I think y'all can do a little bit better than that. Can we hear it? They have their degrees. They on the other side. I would like to invite anyone who has graduated from Yale Divinity School from 2023 or earlier to please stand. And if you're standing, just wave. Okay, wave a little bit more, wave a little bit more, wave a little bit more. To the class of 2024, on behalf of our Yale Divinity School Alumni Board President, J. Lawrence Turner, myself, I serve as the Vice President, our Alumni Board, and our more than 8,000 Yale Divinity School alumni. Welcome to the Alumni Association of Yale Divinity School. To the class of 2024, I just have a few things that I would like for you to hold in your heart as you remember this day. Because you all are the class of 2024, I have an acronym for you for the word "for," okay? It's gonna be short, but hopefully it will be significant. Remember these 4 things as you move into the world as Yale Divinity School graduates. F, fuel your passion. Always remember that even brand new luxury cars cannot go very far without fuel, be it gas or electric. And so as you move into the world with this degree in your hand, ready to empower your passions, always remember your fueling stations, be it your family, your community, be it your congregations, wherever you find fuel for the journey, don't forget to refuel every time you move through this world. Oh, own your power. Like it or not, Yale is an historic institution with a whole lot of power. You can choose whether you critique the power, you can choose how you stand in your power, but I invite you to own your power. Never shrink from the fact that you are a Yale Divinity School alum. That means you're a Yale University alum. That means you get to speak with all the rights and privileges as a Yale University alum. Own your power. You unite our communities. As we know, we are in a trying time, but the intersectionality of who you are matters. And so bring every part of you, endeavoring to be a bridge wherever you find yourself, wherever your feet may tread. And lastly, remember the journey. Remember the way you felt in those classes. Remember the conversations you had among your peers. Because many decades from now, when you can't quite remember all of the moments, I hope you'll remember the moment you feel right now. Remember the rage if you're enraged. Remember the joy if you are joyous. Remember the duality of both if you're feeling many things today. But that memory will keep you honest and keep you accountable as you go further into your work and your call. So again, class of 2024, remember to F, fuel, O, own, U, unite, and R, remember. Congratulations and welcome to the alumni side of Yale Divinity School.
Thank you, Gabby. Gabby is a great model. I don't remember your year, but it wasn't very many years ago that she was sitting right there and received her degree. So she's lived a very remarkable life. We're just about ready to be dismissed, but we started a tradition a couple of years ago, and I'd like to keep it to recognize faculty who have achieved milestones in their careers. And this is the only opportunity we as a whole community come together so we can do this. So as I call your name, would you please stand, and then we'll give everyone a round of applause. 2 faculty members went through both internal and international external reviews and evaluations and received tenure this year. They are Professor Jan Lin and Professor Danielle McRae. Three faculty members, one is not here because it's on leave, but 3 faculty members went through both internal and external international evaluations and were promoted from associate professor with tenure to full professor with tenure, of course. They are Professor Willie Jennings, Professor Braxton Shelley, and Professor Lynn Tonstad. Two members of our faculty have been awarded endowed chairs. One is to be officially awarded in June, but it's just a matter of formality. Professor Willie Jennings, again, and Professor Sally Promy. In a minute, Sarah Drummond will lead us in our invocation, but she also went through an internal and external international evaluation and was appointed professor in the practice this year. Please join me in congratulating Sarah. We have one bittersweet announcement. After more than 40 years of service, our registrar, Lisa Huck, has decided to retire. The nerve of some people. Lisa is known by all of the faculty, all of the staff, and all of the students, and is beloved by all of us. And if you don't believe that, 61 of us have banded together and created a scholarship in her name. Your immediate supervisor, Lisa, sitting next to you, Joyce, instigated this, and my predecessor, Harry Attridge, has been leading the charge, but we have just under $50,000 with more to go. If you want, I'm sure development will have my head if I don't say, if you'd like to contribute to it, you may. But would you join me in saluting Lisa Huck? I also want to acknowledge 3 people who have worked for over 6 months and pretty much full time for the last 2 months to make this day possible. And they really do deserve a lot of gratitude. Associate Dean Vicki Flippin, who has led this charge. Kit Healy, Kit, where are you? He doesn't always like to appear. Right over here, right over here. And helping them, Shafton Haley. Where's Shafton? I know he's here. We're very grateful for an extraordinary amount of work and attention to detail. Now, I will call on Professor Sarah Drummond to lead us in our benediction. I would ask that you wait until the faculty and the platform party, followed then by the students, are dismissed, and afterwards come out, congratulate the graduates, and let's have a party on the quad.
As you're able, I invite you to please rise and hear these words of blessing on our graduates and for all who have gathered to send our graduates forth. To God and God alone be the glory. We just work here. Expect that the road will be rough at times. You said yes to a calling, and it came with some baggage. Expect that you'll have new opportunities to say yes or no, and that all you have learned here will guide your answer. Your instruments have been attuned and calibrated so you might know, measure, and fill the U-shaped hole in the world. Expect that people will disappoint you sometimes. Expect it, but don't accept it. Try to make things better, even if that means correcting each other and the institutions you serve with all due humility. Expect surprises. Expect revelation. Expect new life. Share your adventures and observations with each other, for theological reflection with colleagues transforms ordinary interactions into extraordinary works of art, both objects of beauty and a map. Finally, beloveds, expect that in decentering ourselves, taking a seat in awe at the foot of the divine, that won't lessen or weaken us, but render us more powerful than we can imagine. For under God, we are all connected. In the words of the letter written to that first Divinity School intern, Timothy, to the King of ages, immortal, invisible, the only God, be honor and glory forever and ever. Amen.